Welcome to the first ever Over the Road Conversation. It is me, your boy Jam, and I'm here with...
I'm Siobhan.
Normally he's T, but that's his twin right now. So, we on a road going from state to state, and we saw something. Well, we was watching a video, and the video was... What do you want to think of it, Siobhan?
The video was pretty much... It was a conversation between people, and they were talking about... Obviously, you can tell I'm driving, so if you don't see me looking at you, it's because I'm watching the road. They were talking about multiple things. One being able to respect people's individuality, meaning whatever they may label themselves, that is what we should respect them as. So all of this binary, gender fluid, non-binary, bisexual, all these new terms that's out now, and what people may feel is best for them. We should respect what they want to be called, whether it's a trans woman, or if a trans woman want to be called just a woman, we should respect that, or even vice versa, trans man, or if a trans man want to be called a man, that's what they're going to be called.
Well, now we want to give this disclaimer that whatever is said is our own opinion.
Our own beliefs, our own thoughts, our own opinions. It's not here to persuade nobody to think differently, or to persuade anybody that however they may be living is wrong. Because I'm not a judge, I'm not God, I cannot condemn you and place you in no prisons or hells. So this is just our opinion, our own thoughts and belief on what we said.
So by it being our opinion, it is not a judgment. So we're not judging, we're not condemning, we're not criticizing, we're just discussing. So if you don't like what is being discussed, let's have a conversation on it. We're not arguing, we're not fighting, we're just talking to bring about understanding.
And as you're watching this now, go ahead, like, subscribe, invite your friends, whatever it is, hit the bell, the notification bell, because the love is always welcome, it's always great. So let's go ahead and jump right into the conversation.
Well, it's always love. Whatever we discuss, it's always love. Now, my understanding of certain things is, you look at the sky, some would say the sky is black, some would say the sky is blue. I guess all based upon people interpretation. Or perception, interpretation, or what they believe. But in reality, the truth of the matter is, the sky is black. The sky looks blue because of the rising of the sun, the rotating of the earth brings about blue skies, white clouds, all of this. There's some things that are just truths, and there's some things that are left to be, what can you say, determined by you. But no matter how much you dress it up or how much you try to change it, it is always the truth. Now, things you can't change. You can't change your genetics. You can't change that. You can't change your biology. It's just what was given to you. It was the cards that you were dealt. And you have to learn how to play with the cards that you were dealt. You can't just deny who you are to be something else. Because if you try to deny who you are to be something else, it questions, do you really, truly love yourself? Because if you love yourself, how can you deny that part of you that you just don't like?
Total 100% agree. So with him saying that, we listened to a conversation on yesterday between T.S. Madison and Flame Monroe. And they were talking about the LGBTQ community. They had, just in the range of those things, they talked about many things. They talked about Dave Chappelle's comments, that the T, a part of the LGBTQ community, is far left out there. They're the ones that people look at to be weird. And I understand that everybody wants their own individuality. But what makes you an individual? What makes you who you are? So Monroe was saying basically that in that individuality is, she understands at the end of the day she was created a man, but as a child she felt like a woman. And that goes to two factors. The fact that we have X and Y chromosomes, one being a genetically a masculine hormone and the other being a feminine hormone, which gives us, that creates up the femininity and the masculinity of us. There is no man on earth, and I mean man, male or female, that is just genetically masculine.
Now, just to play with biology, because no lie, I hated biology when I was in school. Just like so many other people, you hated biology in school. So you really didn't pay attention, neither did you really care about what was being taught in biology. Because I sure didn't, did you? You have some people that likes biology and science, therefore they have careers in those sectors. But us normal, regular individual people, that's not what we like. We just gotta see, or if we wanted to, and just kept on going. So when it comes to biology, everybody has an X and a Y chromosome. Truth be told, when everybody's born female. As the process continues, it's either the Y chromosome become dominant or the X chromosome become dominant. As the process develop, and while you're in full term, it comes to the conclusion of you're a male or you're a female. Men have testosterone, women have estrogen. Whereas also there are some estrogen in men and there's some testosterone in women. It's a balance. Now, when you get older, men testosterone levels diminishes, women estrogen levels diminishes, men's estrogen level increases, and females testosterone levels increases. That's how come you can see some older men, when they get older, they become a little more feminine. Not saying that they try and become women, but their testosterone levels drops. Then you see some women, when they get older, they start to become a little bit masculine. Their testosterone rose. So it doesn't mean that now you are the opposite gender, because time has caused developments to, how can we say, be manipulated. Is that a safe word to say? Manipulated?
Change has happened throughout time. So what happened in that is that Madison basically was saying, as a child, she knew or felt as if being born a male was his wrong gender, that he was a female. And what I do know is that when we're born men a reason. Now, this is the factor of all for me that broke me. I understand that we're born with two masculine and female feminine energies, because we know that if we want to talk about religion and they say that God has no gender, and I get why we are given the energy of masculine and femininity, because it's supposed to bring a balance to the earth. Everything we do has a balance. There are moments and hours and times of our life where we have to be strong. We have to be what people may consider prideful. But all the pride is strength. Being able to endure, being able to go through. It also gives wisdom. And then there's times that we have to be able to be vulnerable, which is feminine, which causes us to be loving and teachable. So, T.S. Madison felt as if, out of respect, I call you a she, that she was born to be a woman, and so throughout life, she decided to become a trans. Trans is derived from the word transition. So you feel as if you're a transitioning gender. From the gender that you was born, you're going to transgender into the gender, transition into the gender you believe that you are. This is where she has gotten. She stopped the transitioning after the breast area, because she loves her penis.
Now, that brings me to I have a question. I have a question. Now, the question that I have is understandable. Are you changing the part of you don't like, but you're keeping the part of you that you do like? But to be that woman, now I'm not judging you, I'm not bashing you, I'm just asking a question. To be that woman, isn't there certain parts you need to have to be that woman? Because everything that comes with womanhood comes with creating, holding, birthing. Or do you just like the image or the persona of the woman?
For me,
just a question.
I can't sit here and say being who I am, and I can get it. Sometimes you feel through life, you watch. Don't get me wrong, everybody, male and female, has their trials and their hardships. But there are men out there who felt like, dang, if I was a woman, I may have had it easier. There are men out there who feel as if I was a woman, life may have been a lot easier for me than it is as a male. And even as a child, sometimes you don't do everything that considerably what a male would do. All men are not masculine, hardcore thugs that run out here and play sports. They're not out here being roughed up and want to box and fight and wrestle. Some men or young men, because they're feminine doesn't mean that they're women. They just don't like all of that. No. They do like Barbie dolls. It doesn't make you gay if you like to play with hair. It doesn't make you gay. It's the impression.
Now, the question I have, since you mentioned that, Shavar, is this. Have there been a negative stigma placed on the ideal of masculinity and femininity, or a stigma placed on being a man and being a woman? And because of this negative presentation of that, people don't want to be that, because that's all of what they saw and that's all of what they presented, not realizing that they can make a better impression on who they are. Or am I just wrong?
I feel in some parts A lot of the times we want to change who we are because we're insecure about the way we may look. This goes to plastic surgery. There's no difference. We want to change the image of who we are because we're unhappy with what it looks like. Because you're feminine, you cannot seem to match the image with the emotion or the characteristics. It's like seeing a hardcore thug man being gentle and nice. The first thing we see when we see this hardcore individual is, when he's nice, is we'll say to them out loud is, I never thought you were like this. You don't look like that type of individual. So we're trying to associate image with emotional image with feeling because of what society has have placed on us to believe, because I look a certain way, I must act a certain way. She said two things to me, two things on this interview, or the conversation that they were having. As a young, I don't know how long she was transitioning, but she said when she was much younger, the only two people she saw that were just like her was RuPaul and Flame Monroe. Well, you're a trans woman. RuPaul is a drag queen. RuPaul is not who you see as you because RuPaul doesn't want to become a woman. RuPaul likes the whole image of being able to dress up like a woman, perform, but still want to take it off because he understands that he's still a man. Flame Monroe process and thinking, dressing up as a woman, but he still knows on the inside he's still a man. And he doesn't care about the pronouns because he knows who he is. Yes, I'm feminine, but God has given me a penis because I have to use that as an operation to reproduce. Flame Monroe still has children, still acts like a man.
Because he realized his own theory is she pays the bills.
No.
Or that he cashed the check.
No, he makes the check. She cashes the check. They spend it. So we. He make the money. She cash the check, and both of his identities spend it. So possibly you feel as if you're a woman, so you cannot see your image of who you are in them.
Because you're totally different.
And I respect that. But in that, this is where you start confusing people. When you want to tell them that you're a woman, but in the reality, in the spectrum of it all, is you still have your penis. Yes, we can go biblical times. Yes, there was eunuchs and...
There were men in biblical times that was used as male sex slaves.
They were eunuchs. They were just like women with penises, but not in any sense were they telling people they were women. They weren't deriving to be women. They knew what they were.
And they knew what their job was.
And they accepted that.
And they felt that this was their calling. So, now it brings to the question of, if you want to be called she, or you want to be called he,
her,
or you want to be called her, or you want to be called him, do you feel that this is your calling? This is what you was called to be? To bring light to a darkened world? So that it may save people's lives?
If you're going to be a woman, be a woman. If you're going to be a man, be a man. Don't. The world is already confused enough. And no one's saying to deny who you are. They Because I know you don't say you're a woman, you say you're a trans woman, and I understand that 100%. Because the word, again, trans derived from the word transition. So out of respect, if you was to be a full-fledged woman with the breast and the vagina, when you introduce yourself to a man and they ask who are you, you would say, I'm a trans woman, my name is so-and-so and so. Now that gives them the ability to know, okay, you weren't born figuratively a woman.
You transition into a
woman. And that gives them the option. You're not bamboozling them.
Well, you can't bamboozle somebody that actually want that. So,
but what I'm saying is a lot of these transitioning women run after straight men.
Not all.
A lot of them do. And this is why in the previous years, transitioning women were actually being murdered because they were dealing with straight heterosexual men. And they weren't telling them that they were transitioning women. Because now you got this man thinking that, hold on one second. Because now you have someone, this is where the confusion comes in. So it can't be a conversation because this is why they were dying at high rates. Because you have these men thinking you're women. And because they've been with biologically birthed women who were birthed as biological women, just natural women, they're not seeing those deeds. The things that you do as a woman. If they're in a relationship with you, you don't get a period. Why? Especially if you're 20-something years old, unless you have some medical condition. You can't have children. Why?
Or is it possible that we can just say, throw the whole pronoun out of the window and just say, people ask you, who are you? You just say, I'm just going to use you for example. I am T.S. Madison. What do you go by? I go by as T.S. Madison. Are you a he? Are you a she? I am T.S. Madison. And nobody can be me, or do what I do. Who are you? This is who I am. Are you a he? Are you a she? I am neither.
But you still have to let them know that you're trans, because if you get with this man, he's expecting you to be a woman, right?
But this not a conversation about relationship stuff.
But it's still the confused parts.
I know.
Because this is where the confusion come in, and then you're saying that it's okay, and then children are growing up to believe that this is right.
Well, understandable, but that's not the conversation. Maybe that's next conversation, next thing. But we want to deal with the individual first. Let's talk and understand the individual first before we start jumping into a relationship. Because the same way you transition that fast into a relationship, so will other people. They'll forget about what we talk about and go right into the relationship. Right?
No. It's 23 minutes of that. So you can't skip that part.
See what I deal with? So